So I had this great core of leaderships that we had a great relationship with Mel, and then these guys would make sure that, you know, we talk about our values, we'd live it on the field, we'd live it off the field, and you know, it's been a huge success. And what's happened is New South Wales have had to, they've been trying to find answers, and this is what was happening to us before we won that first game, that first series in 06. We were looking for answers, so we kept changing our halves, we kept changing our team, trying to find the team that was going to beat New South Wales. And now New South Wales in that position, you know, they keep changing their team, and we have, like, in terms of our culture, we're up here because it's just growing every year. They're slowly getting there, but they need to, in my opinion, they need to pick and stick with one team. Eventually, they will break the cycle, and once those people who've been through the adverse times like we did, if they're still there, then they'll reap the rewards. It's quite interesting, but you know, we were talking about it before. We've won 8 in a row. It's potentially going to be 9, maybe 10. You know, it's going to go down in history, obviously, like the St George era where they won 11 premierships.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So we started talking about preparation being the key and goals, and I'm sure everyone in the audience is interested around setting goals and how do we set goals. So we've obviously got the game to win on the weekend, but the game's probably won or lost way before the weekend. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, it is, yeah. The game is won and lost well before the weekend. You know, I always felt that if you nailed your preparation, you got to the ground feeling confident. You know, you knew you did everything you could. Sometimes, you know, I think when teams don't prepare as well as they would have liked, there's that element of doubt. You know, did we do everything we could? You know, Wayne Bennett used to have a saying, "Have no regrets." You know, but I think, you know, he would say that on game day about your performance out on the field. But I think that applies to the start of the week. You know, have no regrets, so that when you get to your game, you're ready to go. And you know, I just think it just drives high performance. I believe if you take that sort of message, let's really nail our preparation. And you know, sometimes, like in an Origin, this is the thing with the Origin. When you one up in a series, that 5% that you know that you're still alive even if you lose this game, and that 5% of the other team where they know if they don't win, they're gone. That it's probably not even 5%, but the mental application changes, the psyche changes a tiny bit, and very rarely do you see an Origin team go back to back. I mean, it has happened through this run, but the mental Origin is so much about the mental application on the night. I mean, I'd be interested to hear Sean's take on that sort of mental side of things.
Mental is everything. Again, a couple of points. I mean, there's an old expression, culture is what takes over when adversity happens. And so the culture of the organisation becomes very, very observable when things are going wrong. And I mean, again, I'm a union man, fascinated to hear Darren's comments about the New South Wales and the constantly changing and doing new things, and that's what happens with organisations. I mean, they keep trying different things, they keep trying new things, they don't give things time to work. And when I go and talk to a CEO who wants to change his or her culture, and I say, look, you're in for somewhere like a 5-year journey on this exercise. I know, you know, the old famous expression, it's about 20 years old, the chief executive has said, I want a new culture and I want it by lunchtime tomorrow. It just doesn't happen that way. It takes a very long time to build a firm culture. It takes a sense of consistency of purpose, and it takes a sense of faith and belief in your strategy. And so the more you chop and change, the more you're actually giving the message to people that you're not confident in your strategy. And this was incredibly evident during the GFC over 2009, 2010, where, again, you know, we have the data that organisational cultures became more aggressive as organisations adapted to a very, very different economic climate. This is one of the problems with success, and one of the great things about sports, as the analogy, is that when organisations are successful, they tend to think it's due to their own brilliance. During the years, the 2000 years, and the sort of like period 2000 to 2007, You would have to be absolutely blindingly, outrageously stupid as an organisation not to do extremely well, because it was economically one of the most munificent environments the world has ever experienced. That changed very suddenly in 2009, and that was one of the reasons why it was such a munificent environment. And so organisations adapted to that by adopting very aggressive strategies to solve short-term solutions. And the law of systems is that more often than not, short-term solutions will have longer-term unintended consequences. So you need, as an organisation, as a sporting team, to build towards the longer term and understand that in the short term you will have things go wrong. And again, one of the great things about watching a sports team, again, a high-performing sports team, is the understanding that some days you lose. Some days you don't put everything together particularly right. The other team gets everything perfect. Maybe there's a little bit of luck out there, but of course the old sportsman's definition of luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Things go right for the other teams, things don't go right for us. We must learn from that. One of the things that organisations don't do is that they don't spend time learning from their success and learning from their failure. And that's where the preparation stuff comes in.